Motho wethu e lesome metsotso pele ga ura ya bolesome le bobedi re santse re le ka kwano mo Matlosana o montle wa batho ke gore ile ka re mo tsatsing la gompieno ga re nosi re na le ba lefapha la defect ka tlase ga botsamaisi ba ga MEC Bitsa Lenkopane re le ditso kwa kwano mo re ketekang jalo le tsatsi la lefatshe la ditshwanelo tsa badirisi o tla gopola gape gore kgwedi e re leng mo go yone e ke engwe ya dikgwedi tse di botlhokwa tse e leng gore ke kgwedi ya ditshwanelo tsa badirisi mme bile gape ke kgwedi ya ditshwanelo tsa botho jaanong mo tsatsing la gompieno re utlwile ka mokgwa e leng gore o di beile ka teng le dibui tse e leng gore di farologane mo baneng ba leka jalo go ka ruta badirisi ba rona tla ke tse tshono ye ke amogele di-radio station tse e leng gore di farologane ke bua ka Moretele FM Aganang FM Morediri FM Valta FM Star FM Mafisa FM Madibeng FM Mahikeng FM Mabatho FM ga mmogo le Bodumedi FM bonkgonne ke lebogile thata gore lebele re neela tshono e mo mesong ya tsatsi la gompieno ga jaana mo seraleng ke na le mokuduthamaga wa lefapha la defect MEC Bitsa Lenkopane a re tse tshono ye re mo dumedisa ebile re mo amogele mo thulaganyong ya rona e ikgethang mo tsatsing la gompieno o tsogile sentle mokuduthamaga
Dumelang bagaetsho le baresi ka go ke tsogile sentle thata
re a leboga mokuduthamaga re tsoga ka kwano mo mesong ya tsatsi la gompieno le re biditse goreng le bone go le botlhokwa gore le be le biditse baagi ba tsa karolo ba ileng gore setse re ba utlwile mo seraleng ka kakaretso ebile re keteka letsatsi leo la lefatshe la badirisi le leng gore le tlatla le ketekwa ka di 15 tsa kgwedi e re leng mo go yone ya March
tota gompieno re beetse letsatsi leno kwa thoko go keteka moletlo wa lefatshe lotlhe the World Consumer Rights Day celebration. So we are here today to reflect on the achievements and the strides and everything that the consumers had in their history and re kwano jaaka lefapha ka gore re dira ka tsa merero ya badiri le badirisi so gompieno re tla go itumela mmogo letsatsi le
re itumela lefapha ke a itse gore le fale go na le ka moggo batleng ba dirisane le dikgwebo ka teng o fetsa go bua ka badirisi ke thuso e feng dithuso di feng tse e leng gore le kgonne go ka felletsa le thusa maphata a mabedi ya badirisi ga mmogo le dikgwebo.
As the department, the MEC has appointed a board, but we call it the Provincial Consumer Affairs Court. It has got also the officials of government that are making a lot of efforts for support that court. Maikarabelo at that court ke go tsereganya mo badirisi ba ka tswang ba sa tsholwa sentle gore ba kgone go hitlhella ditshwanelo tsa bona jaaka badirisi. It is responsible for ensuring that there's enough protection of the consumer rights and it also take care of advocacy and awareness for our people to know the rights tse ba nang le tsona. Last year we were celebrating it ko Taung. Our main focus was on the burial societies. Now this year, our main focus is on barekisi ba di motoro, ba rekisang dikoloi. Now, our focus is to say, as a consumer, jaaka moreki, when you get to the dealer, to start to enter into a deal and sign off a contract. Today we are creating an awareness of the steps that we have to take. Renale ba bangwe mo ba ba reng ke I inspect before, like they take responsibility of just guiding us. There are so many institutions here. Ba ba bolelang gore o tshwanetse go dira eng after buying a product. The focus is on motor vehicles. But the reality is that we're dealing with so many products. It could be a coffin, it could be furniture, it could be a car, it could be a radio, it could be anything that you enter into, including a loaf of bread, a tin of fish, beans. What is it that you have to do? So the creation of awareness and you as a consumer, the responsibility. But when I was addressing here, I said, as government and the consumer court, we are sitting between business and our people. We would not want to say because business in the whole value chain is also a consumer at some point. Baraka makhasa ko di auctioning, they come and ba rekisetse batho because le bone they are into business. Now they get into the conflict of the law when they have to do what is best for consumers. So today, ga ba bidise ba botle di taxi association ba teng ka mo se ke ba bolella ke ba driver dikoloi ya o sheba dinko tsa yona e ka re Toyota you don't know the name. Then 6 months down the line e khwa di dustbin e khwa di bakery and you now frustrated, you commit suicide, you cause accidents. But when you understand the rise as a consumer and we're now owing a dealer, also understanding how you have to protect the rights, it contributes to the integrity of the dealership ya gago. So those are the awareness that the department have since started. They have been moving to places in, I explained that to Dr. RSM, we are in Vryburg, ko Garona, ko Bojanala, we are at Land Bank, ko Rustenburg, mona KK remote Exdopo, and then ko Mahikeng re ko the offices of Detect.
Kante jana ga o le ko seraleng ke go tlile o tsupula ntlha ya khoto ya badirisi go fitlhella ga jana a kgotlatshekelo ya badirisi e setse go nnile le dikatlholo dingwe tse di rileng fa go ntse jalo o ka re tsupulela tsone tse ileng gore ba setse ba kgonne go ka di utolla.
A lot has happened, and I think you were also told today we have invited even the national ombuds, the national credit regulators. The national credit regulator will also always deal with the terms and conditions of when you become to get into the space of being in the dealership. So, renality cases one of the typical examples that I have used is of a very young person who, I would not disclose the names, but those are cases. You can always find them because it comes from even the Supreme Court, where o rekile koloi a e bona e siame gante koloi ena e ne rightly off actually. So as a yona 6 months before even the lapse of the 6 months e starta go mosokodisa. He's not even aware as to whether tshwantse a ye ko bankeng or a ye ko the dealer. So it's important for our consumers to understand that the moment you enter into a contract, let the contract be clearly explained to you. So it happened that the case, at least she understood the contract and she was able to get access to our offices and access the court. What also is important is for people to know, but the people, the lawyer, but we have a court that is free of service and that understands the act, especially the act that speaks to consumer rights. So this lady entered into that arrangement. We managed to take the case ya gagwe. I have introduced the board here, which we call the Provincial Consumer Affairs Court. They dealt with that matter until meona ona se sa patetse ibile a exceeded the actual amount, but koloi ya ena e sa bereki. So she was able to get refunded because of the fight that our local consumer court has put for her. And it remains the responsibility of us as government to make sure that until we reach a point where they rise. So as government, batho ba akanya gore service is only about go iradisela go ga metsi go fana ka dijo fana ka diempa. We are also a department that take care of the welfare of the people in terms of protecting their rights like we are here. So where we are, we can celebrate it that una le koloi una le tšhelete gagwe mo boeseng o gona go reka koloi e siameng. She now know, and others that we might have not said here, including food stuff, food poisoning. We are dealing with those cases, but we are saying let's prevent. The moment you buy a tin of fish, lantla esenang the date, the expiry date, know that you are entering more by your own risk. Because we also have to make you pass the test of whether you were also a responsible consumer. And that's why we intensify awareness. Gore ikisi ya ka moreki gore tlogela go reela o tla phitlhong ko Vryburg o batla gore gatella go tla kgameng along the way mo tseleng ya N12 o bona corner nyana ke a itse mo Klerksdorp mo corner le corner ke dealer car dealers or you get in there ba rabare buy one get two free you get there you get even for your cousins you get go tla kgameng ke tse di tswa dipeba di tswa di eng go hapiwa ka ditang. And 6 months down the line, you are frustrated, you commit suicide, you go to the lawyers. You must also know our consumer team, they are very good. They are so thorough. They are able to explain to you, or after getting to the contract, who is actually the person that you have entered into a contract with. As a consumer, you should be knowing, you have entered into a contract with the bank. You repay in the bank. The bank has also a responsibility ya go dira the due diligence. A go siame, a go checkilwe se le se. There are options that as a consumer o tshwantseng o di follow. You can either opt for repair, you can opt for replacement, or you can even opt for refund. So it depends, but the dealer said sometimes, when I was addressing, that sometimes they protect everything and they opt for saying to you, we will repair. You keep on repairing until the lapse of 6 months. And when the 6 months have lapsed, they will behave as if you have reported late after 6 months and your case would have then fallen off. So it's important to get closer to our costs. We are very patient in handling the issues of our people. We take you even, refer you to even counseling because we understand that you will want us to give you car now when you come report. And in the meantime, kulu abona motho admit yo ko sepetlele gape atla peita ko mo profiteng gapa atla etsa. So that's how our consumers normally behave. They come and they report, and at a later stage they got advices, they go to this lawyer, they go to Kasna Ferrekanar detect so they need to be patient, they need to be focused, they must know that we will fight for their rights. And that is why we celebrate this day.
Ke itumella gore o tlhagisitse ntlha ya dijo, o tlhalositse ntlha ya bo ditlhapi tse oftleleng re di reka, bo dipeba tse oftleleng re di bona mo marothong. Le bokgakala bokae segolobogolo jang mo ngwageng o fetileng re nnile le metseletsele ya bana ba ileng gore ba tlogetse lefatshe le le ka kwano fela ka ntateng ya dijo tse ileng gore di ne di sa siamang. Go fitlhella ga jana lefapha le tsweletse ka tselentseng jang go netefatsa gore tse dingwe tsa dikgwebo tse dintseng jalo di a tswalwa.
You must be very we must know the distinction between today we deal like the consumers and we say as you enter the shop and buy, you're a consumer. You go with your responsibility. Rice goes with responsibilities. Your responsibility as a consumer, jaka mo dirisi. O tshwantse ska just so size gore ke shone eng se dirilwe leng go fitlhella leng. The moment you enter into that, you stand a better risk of consuming poison and. And it would now be, when you do a mistake, you are stick to your responsibilities, it becomes something else beyond protection of your right. Now we protect your right to say, don't buy when you don't know what it is. Don't buy when you are not sure of the expiry date. The moment you buy it, when you arrive home and the expiry date is wrong, take it back to the store. We get in there now. When the store says we can't take it back, or when the store says we can't refund you, when the store says we can't replace it, when the store says we cannot find a way to get an alternative. But the moment you consume, when you cannot convince us that it had a good, let's say fake, you would not detect a fake. But you would have bought something that is in the form of a fish and the tin is written 1927, sentle fela you see or is consumable. It's another matter. That is why this department has another section that deals with business licensing and the permitting, and it has also a section that speaks to, it works closely with the municipality in terms of designation of as an andilosadi food poisoning. Yeah. There's an act that deals specifically with that area. So today we are guided by the National Consumer Rights Act, and then it goes into the activation of our Provincial Consumer Affairs Court. It is also there. So ba resi gompieno ba samposa ka di food poison ba mpotse ka responsibility ya bone ga ba reka o rekile mosese o le montle gote ga o ka wa tswa ga o tsenya mo metsing fela ditlhale di a sala. You are a consumer, you have bought the dress, you can still come and say, but mosese ona is before the lapse of 6 months and I didn't expect it gore at the madi a ke a rekileng ana a di 3,000 ga ga ja di 3,000 mosese e mentle. So
a re ye ko molaetseng wa gago wa badirisi ga mmogo le bommakgwebo le borrakgwebo ba ra gore mo tsatsing la gompieno
bommakgwebo le borrakgwebo mo letsatsing la gompieno ta ke re badirisi le bao ba dirisanang le badirisi gore letsatsi le la gompieno a re le ketekeng ka go showa maikarabelo a rona a re kgoneng gore all of you, those who are in this room and those who are in that room around the tables, ask each other gore nna ke consumile eng, did I protect and did I act responsibly? Share your stories because in there gompieno either online on our Facebook page, ask questions about the National Ombuds, ask questions about the National Credit Regulator. You find yourself o setse o stokile di fridge tsa makgasa o nagana gore di tlo go bereka. You have people whom you would want to sell. Wo jor no e pompelwa gasi etsang. Don't do that. You must also know that also as a dealer or na le responsibility ya go protect because you also bought them somewhere ona na re ke stock. So all we are responsible for bringing a balance. So are celebrating bana ba ba tabogelang go di spaza shop borotho bo butleleng. What is your understanding ka pampiri ya borotho bo? So that today we see all of us reducing the risks tsa go nna mo mathateng a dikoloto batho ba tlhalana o enter into a contract o le a married woman and a man without the consent of the wife maralonyalana in community of property. Later on it is discovered in terms of the regulation and the understanding and the interpretation of the act ga o ka wa kgona go dira contract outside the consent of your partner when you are married in community. So a re tsamaye mo nakong e department ya rona iteng. Visit us on our Facebook page. I was also advised go department teng gore we have got a QR code where you have contacts of the court and you'll also have contact of those that are responsible to refer you go kry service.
Mokhuduthamaga Bitsa Lenkopane re lebogile thata gore botse re nako ya gago mo tsatsing la gompieno ra lebogale ka moso.
Go lebogile nna ngwana me modimo ke o.